Hey everyone, this is Josh Hayward and welcome to episode 92 of the Find Your Craft Show. I've got a very special brew for you guys this evening. I have Hopcakes, an Imperial India Pale Ale from NoDa Brewing out of Charlotte, North Carolina. And in honor of the Hopcakes Imperial India Pale Ale, I have a stack of pancakes. I almost wanted to say hopcakes again. Stack of pancakes here. Got my syrup in honor of this great brew. So hopcakes, a little story behind it. It is an Imperial India Pale Ale from NoDa Brewing out of Charlotte. As I said a few moments ago, this one comes in at about 10.2% ABV. So it is a heavy hitter. And a reason for that high alcohol content is the fact that they pour quite a substantial amount of Vermont Maple Syrup into the brew kettle when they brew this beer. The addition of that adds a slight sweetness to the brew. However, the main thing is you're going to have a lot of extra sugar in there, which will, in essence, be eaten by the yeast and create more alcohol, hence the 10.2%. So you get a double whammy there. You get a little bit more sweetness, and then you also get a higher alcohol content. And this one is a heavy hitter for sure. But a very good beer here. The Imperial India Pale Ale, sometimes you'll hear the double IPA kind of used interchangeably. Usually means a higher alcohol content. Usually the malt bill is a little heavier to give you that higher alcohol content. And occasionally you'll see these being substantially more hoppy than our standard IPA. So I'm really looking forward to this one. It's been over a month since I've had it, so looking forward to as good of a blind taste test as I could do. I actually went to the brewery to get this back in January. They do a special release for hopcakes. This is one of their specialty beers that they release throughout the year. Doesn't last long. It's kind of one of those special things they do throughout the year. It goes fast, and once it's gone, you got to wait till next year. So here we go. We've got a beautiful brew here. This is just a beautiful golden color. I would say translucent would be the scientific term. Transparent being completely see-through, opaque being you can't see through it at all. Translucent, you got some light coming through there, but there's a decent amount of haze, and that is kind of attributing to blocking the ability to see through it there. But give it a little swirl here, if I don't spill it. Got a nice white head there. It's kind of coming to life as I give it a swirl. And as I gave it a swirl, I'm getting some of those nice hoppy aromas in this beer. But yeah, beautiful beer. I'd say a little more light golden towards the bottom of the glass where there's less volume. But in the middle, it's a golden color for sure. Some of it kind of reminds me a little bit of syrup in a way. That's very dark, of course, but kind of the consistency of it kind of reminds me of syrup. Maybe that's just for the name of the brew and it's playing tricks on me. But let's see what we've got on the nose. And I will say this too, just a note about hopcakes. When I first heard of the brew, I was like, oh, what could this be? It's going to be overly sweet. I see the syrup on there. I see they dump syrup in it. But I was in for a surprise, and I think you will be too. So let's see what we got on the nose. Oh, wow. You forget how good some of these beers smell. I will say I'm getting a slight sweetness in here, not much, just a slight sweetness, but the biggest thing I'm getting in here, and it's just so strong, and it's in keeping with the hopcakes theme, being out in the woods, then cutting down trees, hence the flannel shirt, then coming in and enjoying a big stack of pancakes. I'm getting a huge piney hoppy aroma here. I mean, very, very much pine. I'm thinking like getting a bunch of pine needles and just breaking them if you can, and that smell, that resiny type smell, just very, very piney, like walking through the woods, walking through a nice forest of pine or a Christmas tree forest. Very woodsy, I would say. It smells phenomenal. I'm really looking forward to this beer. But yeah, it smells great. Just it smells like a very, very strong, very hopped IPA. So let's see what we've got. Cheers. Cheers to hopcakes. I took a little bit too big of a sip there. Wow, this is a good one, guys. Let me see if I can attempt to describe some of the greatness of this beer. So we've got a nice malt backbone in this beer. Nothing too heavy. I wouldn't say heavy. Nothing too over the top. Sometimes when you see the Imperial IPAs and the double IPAs, they end up being very, very dark. As you can see, this one isn't too dark. I would say it's kind of more on the baked bread, malty side. Maybe just a slight amount of sweetness in there, not much. I would attribute more of that sweetness to the syrup that's used in the brew, more so than a darker malt. Occasionally, when you use those darker malts, you're getting like toasted bread, dark fruit, some caramel, some toffee type notes. I'm not getting much of that here. I'm just getting a standard baked bread, almost like a pancake in a way. Kind of that baked bread biscuity type malty flavor, and then a little bit of a sweetness, which is nice. So you get that sweetness mid-taste, and then just after you get that sweetness, you get that huge kick to your palate. The hoppiness is just amazing. Yeah, it's strong hoppy kick, almost like kick you off your feet in a way. But it's so good. It pairs very, very well with the maltiness and that slight sweetness. As far as the hoppiness goes, again, very, very piney. I'm thinking like breaking apart pine needles and smelling that pininess, grassy even in a way. You know, again, I will use the term dank, just from the resiny type, grassy flavor and aroma in this. As I continue to talk, my palate is coated with that resiny type feeling, a nice bitterness. You know you're drinking an Imperial here for sure, from the heaviness of the beer and the loads of hoppiness there. Great hoppy flavors. I will say the beer is, hang on one second. The beer is surprisingly easy to drink. Not overly heavy, but I will say it's heavy enough to where you want to sip on it. That heavier malt, the sugar in there, the higher alcohol content, and then that strong hoppy punch makes you want to sip on this. I think it's a win both ways. One, you can enjoy it, but two, I feel like as I continue to talk and as I continue to sip, I'm discovering even more flavors through this. It's easy to drink, but I will say it's a little more on the heavier side. A nice sipper beer for sure, just so that you can fully appreciate the goodness that is hopcakes. But yeah, a very interesting brew here. Again, you see the can here, like hopcakes. What in the world? But it is as hoppy as a beer and as flavorful as a beer as you could want. And that syrup really is a nice addition, I would say. Cheers to NoDa on this one. This is a great beer that I look forward to each and every year, just for the uniqueness of it, just the fact that it's got that nice heaviness to it. I love sipping on these beers and just enjoying them. But yeah, great beer here. I'm gonna go ahead and close this video out because I've got to eat these pancakes now. And yes, I made them just for this video, just for you guys. So I'm gonna enjoy these pancakes along with my hopcakes, kind of pair them together. But thank you so much for joining along. Cheers to NoDa Brewing on this one. Cheers to hopcakes, and you guys have a great night. Take care.